Peace and light, family. Peace, love, and light. If you can hear me and see me well, put a number 9 in the chat. I am hoping that you all are doing so very well. If you can hear me and see me, put a number 9 in the chat. Afia Kimara Fa. Thank you. Peace and light to you. Welcome. Um, well, good. I'm glad that you guys are able to hear me and see me. This is going to be really brief. As you all know, I always have a full plan. I needed to share this story with you all. I just have to share what happened to me. As you all know, that I am stateside, and so I'm here taking care of business. Before we move on to our next destination. So I went into the UPS store to print out some documents, okay, personal documents. And so, like some of the stores, like they'll have you get on the computer so that you can, print your documents yourself, and then others will allow you to email it to the store's email address, and then they will print it out for you. So I had some of the documents sent to the UPS store's email so that they could print it out. Okay, this is really like personal information that I needed to send to someone. So I'm looking through my phone while I'm waiting for the printouts to be presented to me, so that I could then fax them. So I'm looking through my phone for other documents. And I happen to, look down and I see that my bank statements, payment history, all that stuff that has that has, again, personal information on it, was just sitting there on the counter exposed. Like the guy did not tell me that they were ready. He didn't get my attention in any way. So he did not hand me the documents. I literally happened to look down and see my documents sitting there. Now the store is packed full of people, and he's actually helping some guy. So someone was literally right there at the kiosk, and my documents were sitting there exposed. So, of course, I'm upset, and I'm like, why didn't you tell me like my documents were ready, and you're just having them sitting here exposed, so that everyone can see them? Like, why would you do that? And he's just looking simple and dumbfounded, and he's like, oh, well, I thought you would see it. Um, and I'm like, how could I possibly have seen it when I was looking through my phone looking for other documents? Like, you saw that I wasn't paying attention at all. Like, why wouldn't you just say, hello, ma'am, your documents are ready. Here they are. Like, why would you sit them on the counter in the open for everybody to see? And this guy, he was Spanish, okay? And he turned around and proceeded to ignore me and help a Caucasian lady. So I'm like, are you seriously being this disrespectful and rude for absolutely like no reason? Or like, what is your reason for being so freaking rude? Okay, so I waited until he was done helping the lady, and then I turned my video on. And, I approached him and I was like, what is your deal? Like, why are you being so disrespectful, and why are you being so rude to me? I said, I simply asked you why you placed my documents with personal information on the counter without my knowledge for everybody to see. Like, as the UPS store, I'm sure that you went through training that told you that you have a duty to protect people's personal information. You have a duty to handle their information with care. So why are you being so disrespectful and rude? I'm like, is it a racial thing, or are you just like this every single day, just disgustingly rude? And he's just standing there like this. I'm like, so what did I do to you? I would like to know, what did I do to you? What did I do to you? And he said, nothing. He said, nothing. I said, so you're treating me this way because of what? And I was like, you know what? I just want to, fax over my documents. I just want to, get this done. Now, mind you, the store is full of Caucasian people. It's full of Caucasian people. No one, and his coworkers, like I think they were, all Spanish, and none of his coworkers stepped in, to correct him, or try to help to de-escalate, educate him, intercede in any way. None of the customers in the store, they were all looking like, the energy in the store was, they were uncomfortable because I was speaking up and speaking out. So they were like acting uncomfortable because this, melanated woman is here and she's, scolding this guy. And they it was like they were annoyed. They were annoyed. That was the energy like in the room. None of them interceded. None of them said anything. And it just got me to thinking, just us as the indigenous people to the entire planet, it's like, how much is enough? Like, and how long? Because I've had the privilege of traveling to many places. And yes, some have treated, my son and I, for the most part, very well. But that doesn't mean that I don't see, the racial inequalities. Like, and it doesn't mean that I don't see the difference in treatment. Like, wherever we are, I've seen it. I saw it on the continent. I love Latin America, but I see it in Latin America. Even in Mexico, where most of the places that you go to, especially in Mexico City, and just many of the inner, the places where the business is booming, city centers, like, I don't see the Afro Mexicans. Like, you have to go to a certain part, just to see them. And it's the same thing in Costa Rica. Like, if you're wanting to be around, the Afro Costa Ricans, you have to go to Limon, or in the Caribbean region, and just seeing, and just the disparity, like, in treatment and how we're treated everywhere we go. And it's just like, I thought to myself, as I sat there and watched him, the guy, service the Caucasian people with such respect, calling them ma'am, calling them sir, looking at them in their eyes. And I'm just like, and you're treating me like this. Why? And when I said, is this a racial thing? Because believe it or not, even among the Latino community, there's a lot of racial tension. There's still a lot of racial tension. I don't care how tan they are, between the darker ones and those that are light, and I see it. I see it clearly. And so I asked him, was it a racial thing? And although he said no, why then are you treating these Caucasian customers so differently than you've treated me? A lot of times our behavior is reflective of what's in our subconscious. So although, he was like, shook his head, no, it wasn't a racial thing. It's like we've all been conditioned, to think a certain way and to behave a certain way. And we don't know it. We don't know why we do certain things. And it was quite clear in the way that he serviced the Caucasian customers, in the way that he treated them with respect, in the way that he looked at them in their eyes. He was being courteous, and For some odd reason, again, all I came in and said, I spoke to everyone and I said, hey, I would like to, email, print these documents. Like, how can I do it? And they just handed me a card and was like, send it to that email. And that was it. And I was just waiting for my documents, looking through my phone. And then I see my documents with all my personal information exposed. And then you proceed to be so extremely nonchalant. Like, he was extremely nonchalant about it. And again, looking at me with these, just careless eyes, like, and then for him to turn his back on me and ignore me and then proceed to help a Caucasian customer. Again, with such respect and such care, you can't tell me that you're not acting out of your mental conditioning of disrespecting, dishonoring heavily melanated people, period. There was no other reason. Especially, again, now I could see if he was behaving like that to all the other customers, but he was not. And so this made me think, like, we need to really just be to ourselves, period. Period. We really need to get back to just being with ourselves, being to ourselves. It's like we come to the defense of everyone. Everyone. We have come to the defense even of the Latino community while they were here, and with all the laws to try to, kick them out of our country, and send them back. Just even back in the day with the brown berets, and we were helping them with their movement as well. Like, we've always helped everybody. We've, melanated women have helped the feminist movement, which had nothing to do with us. Like, everybody's always expecting us and running to us to help them in their plight, and we do it. But we as a whole need to really just reel it on in and help and be with one another, get ourselves together, build up our communities again, build up our self-sustaining communities again, and being with ourselves again, and just loving it. Not worrying about what anybody else says, not worrying about what anybody else thinks, because again, wherever we go, it's like we're mistreated. And again, where I'm not talking about the exceptions. It doesn't mean that every single time we're having negative experiences, but I have seen everywhere we go, there is a negative word that describes us. There is a negative perception that people have in their minds about us because of the propaganda, because of the media's attempt to tarnish our image in the minds of everyone. This is just straight facts. I remember being in Tanzania, and so many of the drivers were like, oh, I hear this, I hear that that you all over there, you sell drugs, you do this, you do that. And I'm just like, or you always it's like you're using your race and saying that, oh, you're being mistreated just based on your race, but it's not really true. And I'm like, the fact that that you would even, that they would, like, this is their, like, they are believing this, like, the fact that they don't see how we're just grossly disrespected on so many levels constantly. And it is being minimized. It is being diminished. Like, it's like it's being treated as a joke. Like, it's just, I just felt like in that moment, it is really time for us to really just come together and be with one another, just reel it on in, build ourselves up again. It's just that time. Like I said, no one cared. Now, if it were a melanated person treating any other nation like that, trust me, even our people, because I've seen it with my eyes, we have even been trained and we have been taught to respond to white tears. We have been trained to respond to the tears of other nations, but not our own people. We look at our own people with such disdain. That's like sick. All these other nations, Again, you see the Asians, they come over and they put, businesses in our communities and they hire only their people. You see it in the Jewish community. You see they have their own everything. And no one says a word about it. No one is concerned. But the moment that we say that we're going to reel it on in and we're going to beat ourselves and we're going to do for ourselves and we're going to support each other and we're going to love on each other, it's a problem. It is a problem. And why do you think that's so? So we have to do something different if we want something different. And again, this isn't really different because this is what we were before. We were a community. We were one. Of course, we had disagreements, but we had a way to work them out. And it didn't break us all apart into a million little pieces. Like that is the message. Like, it's time for us to just come together. Like, it's just sickening to see that all these other people, they come in and they get a piece of our milk and honey and they're happy and they change their lives, and they come into our land and they disrespect us. They do not acknowledge us. They disrespect us, they demean us, and we allow it to happen. But then we turn around and we complain about it, but we don't do what's necessary for us to change it. It's really simple. It really is simple. Stop participating in their systems. Stop. Just stop. There are so many of us that have our own businesses. There are so many of us that are making products. That was the goal of Alkebulan's Pantry, which is one of my businesses, was for me to just have products from all of my people. I don't care where you are. Wherever we are, that's Alkebulan. Wherever we are in concentrated, it's Alkebulan. Okay? Because we are Alkebulan and Alkebulan is us. So I wanted, whatever was being created I wanted to bring it in, to the pantry, into the store. And that's still in the works. But there's no reason why we have to look to anybody else to fix our condition. We are perfectly capable of doing it ourselves. There isn't, we don't have to look outside of ourselves or to other nations, for us to strive, for us to thrive. We don't have to do that. We don't. And so just sitting there in the store and seeing everybody just feeling the energy, again, everything is energy. And that's where I'm at. I was just reading the energy in the room. I was looking at the nonverbal, and I mean, they were just like, all the Caucasian people are like annoyed, like really annoyed. But when they're out here showing their entire ass, okay, acting up in stores and accosting, melanated people and asking them for their papers, and you can't even do your daily function and duties without them accosting you. I don't feel that energy of annoyance. I don't. I see them actually a lot of times running to try to help that person that's having that mental breakdown because they're having racial insecurities. So it's like no one stepped in, no one felt a need to say anything or to correct him. I mean, he was blatantly disrespectful. My son was there, and he was just in shock, like, is this dude really like doing this? And then he tried to change it in the end, because again, when I scold, I'm looking you dead in your eyes, because I want to look past your physical. Okay. And really deal with you on a spiritual level. I want to get to the heart of you. I want the scolding to get to the heart of you so that you understand, overstand, and understand. First of all, your behavior is not going to be tolerated. Secondly, you need to feel the reprimandment. You need to feel it, and you need to correct your behavior. You need to correct your behavior. So he tried to reel it in, and he didn't. He was like, you don't have to pay for anything. Have a good day. Yeah, well, that's the very least that you can do. And I did write a public review about it, but it's just the utter disrespect that I constantly see, whether it's us being in one of the local beauty supply stores, and we're being, abused by the Asian owners, whether it's, the Indian community, and they have their whatever stores they own in our community. I mean, just the utter disrespect, I mean, we've seen it. We see it all the time with in the Caucasian community. Again, there's always a sense of disdain and disrespect when it comes to my people, and I'm utterly tired of it. Whether it's in the workplace, whether it's in the workplace, last one hired, first one fired. You guys know that I have an HR background. I see it with my own eyes all the time. I have been let go based off of racism several times, just for speaking and speaking up and speaking out. Oh, that's not allowed. A melanated woman speaking up and speaking out. Oh no, you're not allowed to do that. And then it's seen as being disrespectful, or it's seen, they'll say, oh, you're being aggressive, or you're being they're defensive. And this is what I have to say, especially when someone's like, oh, you're being so defensive. Well, I am being attacked, if you're being attacked, then the proper response is defense. So, when you are being attacked, you have a right to defend yourself. If something wrong is being said about you, then you have a right to defend yourself. If you're being presented with a lie, or if you're being portrayed in a false light, then you have a right to defend yourself. And there's nothing wrong with that. And the problem is that they feel like we should not say anything. Just take it, and keep your mouth shut. Well, no. So I see a lot of our women, especially on social media, and they're saying how they're having to act like they are Caucasian, or give themselves a Caucasian name just to get a call back. In reference to their application submission. And it's like, you're going through all of these hoops just to get a seat at their table, instead of creating a table for yourself and your people to sit at. Again, how long, ye simple ones? How long? How long? Why is it okay for everyone else, all these other nations, to come together as a whole, so that they can make sure that their nation is stable, and that it is safe, and that it is secure, and that it is thriving? Why can't we do the same again? And this time, fortify it in many ways. I'm not just talking about physically, I'm talking about spiritually. Fortify it so that it cannot be broken. So it's time. It is time. I mean, the utter disrespect. I mean, I was so livid. Because I could just see, like, what happened at that moment is that I started to see, like, all the lands in which I've traveled, even from just even me being a small girl, like all of these instances where I've seen racial inequality as it relates to us, where I've seen my grandmother, or where I've seen my mother having to deal with that, or seen my sisters, or friends and family, and then seen myself. Like, it was just flashing. Like, in that moment when he turned around and turned his back and totally ignored me. I mean, it wasn't like I was saying something wrong. You're not supposed to leave someone's personal information exposed for everyone to see. And a simple, you know what, I apologize, and you are right, and I will be more cognizant of that in the future, or something to that effect. Some type of accountability, some type of acknowledgement would have made everything totally okay. But the fact that he just did not respect me, and because he doesn't know me, I have to think, well, what other reasons would he have to not respect me? So it's not ludicrous, for me to determine that it had to probably be based on my race. because that's how everyone has been conditioned to treat us, whether they want to acknowledge it or not. The proof is right there and it's in the pudding. So it's definitely time for us to, come together. There's enough of us that are making products, in various industries where we can come together and trade amongst each other. It is that time where we're going to have to do that and create bartering systems. It's the time. The time is now. Why can't we? I remember being in Ghana and staying in an Airbnb with a beautiful family. And the gentleman was like, one of his friends, they were already doing bartering. Like one of his friends had traded his car for I think 1 or 2 acres of land in one of the regions in Ghana. And that's what we need to be doing more of. There is something that I have that you need. There is something that you have that I need. And again, there is no reason that we cannot come together and, recreate those self-sustaining communities as we once have, and love one another and see about one another and care for one another. Again, it just makes me sick when I see us running to the aid of other people and other nations, and then you leave your own alone and destitute. You sit there and you watch them be disrespected and be abused, and you say nothing and you do nothing. That's a sickness, my people. That's a sickness, beautiful ones. And we need healing. We need healing, and we need unity and oneness. We need healing and we need unity and oneness. We have to totally dismantle the mental colonization of our minds. Totally. It has to be totally eradicated. This is why you have to present yourself as a child again. You have to unlearn all of these nasty, ugly mental constructs that we've been taught. Like, we have to really totally rid ourselves of that. Yeah, I can see it in our behavior. It's evident. The behavior is a reflection of your mentality. So it's clear. I don't care if you can deny it all you want, but the writing is on the wall. The proof is in the pudding. I shall know you by your fruits, and I can see it. So I just wanted to share that with you guys, like just the utter disrespect, and just bringing it back to my time when we were living in Alkebulan. I have had experiences where I'm at a restaurant and my brother and sister that, they're locals, they're helping me. And then they will leave and go and help, the Mzungu. I'm like, are you serious? Oh, I'll be right back. And go and help it. You're not even finished helping me. Again, the mental conditioning. You're not even finished helping me before you're going to run to another nation to go and help them because they've been conditioned to do so. Another instance, we were eating on the waterfront at a restaurant, Josiah and I, and it was a no smoking sign. I can't stand smoke, cigarette smoke, cigar smoke. Like I can't deal with it. But it clearly said like no smoking. And there was this Caucasian woman and she was smoking right there. She lit up her cigarette and started to smoke. And I'm just like, I told the waiter, I said, listen, Kaka, like she's smoking. It's bothering me. It's bothering my son. Clearly there's a no smoking sign here. Can you please ask her to put her cigarette out? He's like, oh, Dada, I don't know. No, I may have to ask the manager. Huh? What? Clearly it says no smoking. And he was totally afraid to go and enforce that rule. Then when my son and I went to the side where the water was, and we started to just, skip rocks in the water. Do you know, one of the locals came down and told us that we cannot do that we better stop doing that. But you can't tell this Caucasian woman that she cannot smoke when there's a no smoking sign there. But you can come and bother myself and my son and tell us that we can't skip rocks when there is no sign stating that we cannot. This is a sickness. This is what I'm talking about. We've been it's ingrained in our subconscious. It's like we're doing things and you don't even know why. You don't even know the root of it. You don't know. So that is it. Let me see. Thank you very much for the warm welcome listening in to you. You are absolutely welcome. You are absolutely welcome. Like it, again, we have no one to blame but ourselves. So at this point, I don't, we can talk about the disparities. We can talk about the disenfranchisement. We can talk about it all. And it's all real. All of it is real, and like how we're being mistreated all over, all over. But if you're not willing to do anything about it, then what is your point and what is your purpose? Like, what is the point and what is the purpose if we're not willing to do anything about it? We've become a people that just love to complain, that just love to complain with no action at all. And I'm just sick and tired of it. Like, I truly, truly am. I truly am. So we need to get our stuff together. Again, there's no reason why we can't come together. There's so many innovative minds. I mean, again, us being the indigenous people to the entire planet. I put the link in the one of my other videos to the geneticists, the Asian geneticists that, as if I didn't need it proved, but some of us really do need the proof. Like some of us hate the truth, where it shows that, all others, that have, pale skin, that they are a mutation of those that were heavily melanated. And that's common sense, really. I mean, this should be undebatable, indisputable at this point. Like, if you're still needing proof of that, then I don't think there's any help for you. So again, we were the foundation there. Let's get back to our foundational mind. Let's get back to that. Let's get back to our divinity. Let's get back to community, which is so important. No one should be left behind. Again, we have enough innovators. We have enough creators. We have enough. We have builders. We have scientists. We have herbalists. We have all that we need. We have those that are good in finances and just anything that you can name. Anything that you can name. We've built entire civilizations and empires and kingdoms. I need us to get back to that. We need to get back to that. If we stand any chance of reclaiming our rightful place, then we need to get back to that. And there isn't anyone that should be able to make you feel guilty about doing that you should ask yourself, why is it an issue? For anyone who would have an issue with that, you should ask yourself, why? It's not an issue for any other nation but us. Should tell you something. So if you're tired of being disrespected, if you're tired of being on the bottom of the totem pole all the time, if you're tired of being the borrower and not the lender, like if you're tired of being the tail and not the head in which you were created to be, then you don't have to be any of those things. You don't. You can transform yourself by the renewing of your mind. And then connecting with others that are also transforming themselves by the renewing of their minds. And create beautiful, mini, self-sustaining communities that thrive, that operate out of love, that operate out of respect, that operate from a place of balance and divinity, of ma'at. It really is that simple. It's not difficult when you do it together. When you do it together. So, how long, ye simple ones? We've been disrespected long enough. We've been disenfranchised long enough. We've been abused long enough. We've been oppressed long enough. The truth has been suppressed and hidden long enough about who we are. We've been stolen from and robbed long enough. We've been murdered long enough. We've been mutilated long enough. How long, ye simple ones? How long? How long? And even those of our people, they don't talk about the other nations when they close out and they just operate amongst themselves. They operate, they practice group economics like amongst themselves. Again, it's never a problem and it's never seen as wrong until we do it. Until we do it. It's time for us to do it again, but it's time for us this time when we do it, for us to fortify it spiritually so that it cannot be broken again. I am challenging you to love yourself and to love your people enough, just like you practice loving other people and other nations so much. I challenge you to love you and your people even more. Even more. And just because we're saying we want to come together and we want to be amongst ourselves, and we want to create many self-sustaining communities amongst ourselves, that does not translate into hating anyone else. And if someone is saying that, then they have shown you who they are, because that's a form of manipulation too. Oh, what does that mean? You hate these kind of people. You hate that kind of people. That's a form of a manipulation, because that does not translate to that. So that's their tactic of making you feel guilty and trying to manipulate you. Just because we love ourselves doesn't mean we hate anyone. We have loved everyone else for so long. We have helped everyone else for so long. And it has been to our detriment. It has been to our detriment. So I challenge you to love yourself and to love your people, just like you have loved others outside of yourself and your people, but even more. I challenge you. I challenge you. I challenge you not to find a reason to come together with your people. I challenge you not to make a trivial excuse as to why, you don't want to be amongst your people. I challenge you. You want to be in everybody else's community and neighborhood, right? Because it's so much better than yours. It's so much better than where your people are. And it's nothing wrong with wanting to be in a safe and beautiful and peaceful environment, but why can't we create that for ourselves? There's no reason why. There's no reason why, except that we are sick in our minds. And we have to heal first. We have to heal first. So, that is it. You guys, that's what I have to say. Everyone else has been able to come over and to our land, and they've been able to partake of our milk and honey. And there's been no respect. No respect. No respect of the people whose land they are. They don't even, still there are people still trying to debate Us being, the indigenous inhabitants, which it's a no-brainer. Again, we are indigenous to the entire planet. The entire planet. And if you don't know that, or you don't want to know that, or you don't want to accept that, you are part of the sickness. You are the cancer that exists within our nation. This doesn't mean that, we go around and mistreating the nations that came from us. Doesn't mean any of that. And I should not have to say that. Because as I've said, we've loved everyone but ourselves. But there is power in knowing who you are. And I hear people all the time, well, Margany, you're saying we're this and we're that, but I want the power. We don't have any power. You're not even doing your due diligence to find out who you truly are. Again, no one can tell you who you are but yourself. Have you time traveled? Have you put the leaves on the branches of your tree? Have you done it? If you haven't done that, then you are the problem. You. If you want your power back, there are steps that you have to take to get your power back. It's not just going to come one day and drop out of the sky. It's not. You have to do the work. But it's there for the taking. That's it. That's what I have to say, beautiful, shining ones. That is it. There is no reason why you have to continue to suffer. There's no reason why you have to continue to be disrespected. There was a TikTok sister, I forgot her channel on here. I think it's Jenny O or something. And she was showing this Asian woman saying that everyone, all people have gone through, slavery, and that it's not, unique to the heavily melanated people or those that they call, African Americans. And again, if you're still calling yourself African American, you still calling yourself, all these other names that came from the colonizer, if you're still calling yourself by these names that totally disenfranchise you from your land, from your true identity, that's a part of the problem. Remember, life and death is in the power of the tongue. Know who you are and call yourself by your true name and not the name in which you were given. So she was saying, oh, all other people have gone through slavery. And she was like telling people, like, did you know? Some of you guys may not know this, but did you know that all other people have gone through slavery and that it's just not, African American people that have gone through slavery? At every turn, again, trying to diminish our history in this land, trying to diminish the mistreatment, the abuse. Well, darling, everyone else didn't go through chattel slavery. See, when you're an indentured servant, that's vastly different from being considered a chattel slave. Being considered chattel, that's totally different. And until this day, we have been perpetually oppressed. We see other nations that have been able to thrive. There's a system that systematically excludes us, that disenfranchises us strategically. This whole system was set up to disenfranchise us from what actually and truly belongs to us and from who we are. So she said that to try to downplay our history and our real experience, the torture of us, the abuse of us in this country, and really throughout all lands. Again, we're thought of in a derogatory way. Of course, some know who we are and they love us and they respect us. But I've also seen the opposite, and it's always concentrated on us. It's always a derogatory word. It's always this perception based off of this propaganda, based off of the media's attempt to tarnish our image. And the attempt is actually, I mean, it's not even an attempt, it actually worked. I'm seeing videos of people who are of the Caribbean and are born on the continent of Alkebulan, and they're saying, "Oh, I'm not your people." There was one melanated sister with an afro and these blue contacts. Maybe they look like contacts, and maybe they were her eyes, whatever. But she was saying, like, I'm not your people. Don't refer to me as your people. I didn't descend from slaves. Again, clearly speaking out of ignorance, but playing directly into the hands of the colonizer. That's what they want. They want us to be separate from one another. That's what they want. So there are so many that are implanted in our community that are so ready and willing to do the dirty work of the colonizer that it's utterly ridiculous and sick and sadistic. See, when you come here, they don't say, they may not say, oh, well, you're okay, you're melanated. Okay, you're melanated from the Caribbean, so you're okay. All they see is the melanin. I mean, I'm not your people. I didn't descend from slaves. Well, we all didn't descend from slaves either. So I would implore you to pick up a book. I would implore you to do some research, because we all did not descend from slaves. And before those that did, and those that were slaves, who were they before that? That wasn't their entire life. Who were they before that? That's what we need to know. Why are you stopping at slavery? Who were they prior to that? That's what I want to know. That's what we all should want to know. While she's trying to be cute and condescending and disrespectful, all the while in the land drinking of the milk and honey. Again, being disrespectful, just like I said in my other video about the brothers from Haiti. Come to the land being so disrespectful. It was, the energy had nothing to do with, it was not out of love at all. There was no love there. Playing into the hands. We got a lot of work to do, but it is possible. It is necessary. It is necessary that you do your work. It is necessary that you renew your mind. It is necessary to come together with other like-minded people, with other brothers and sisters who are doing their work, with others who are conscious. Come together. There is power in that. That is why it is written, where two or three, where they gather in my name, so I will be there. So I will also be there. I will be there. There's power when we come together as one. There's power in that. Stop going off of just the scene. The real action is happening in the world of the unseen. It determines what happens in the seen world. That's why you got to go into your inner world and truly ask yourself, who am I? Who am I? That's what I had to ask myself. Mahogany, who are you? You're so much more than the daughter of your mother and father and the sister of your, of your sisters and brothers and the niece of your uncles and your aunts. You are so much more than that. Who are you? Not this persona, not the ego, none of that. Who are you in your essence, in your divinity? This is what I've had to ask myself. And then I started to do the research. And then I started to put the leaves on the branches, and I'm still doing that. It is extremely important to me, and it should be extremely important to you. Because when you operate from your true self and in knowing your true self, that is where your power comes from. So if you're saying that you want your power, you have to first then find out who you are. That's what you have to do. And again, you have to unmaster distraction and master concentration, and then you'll start to see. You'll start to see the movement. You'll start to see the universe support you. You will start to see it. But you can't just say something and then there are no works behind it. It's not the way it works, beloved. It doesn't work that way. So if you're too lazy to do the research and to time travel to find out who you are, then you don't want to know, and you don't want your power, and you don't want to change your condition or the condition of your people. You don't. It is a lie. And I'm telling you, it is a lie. And if you're willing to lie to yourself, then you're willing to lie to anyone and everyone else around you. Period. So I challenge you all to do your work. Take the time to do your work, time travel, find out who you are, put your leaves on the tree. I challenge you and implore you to go to connect with other lights, beautiful, shining lights like yourself. Connect with them, build a beautiful, self-sustaining community with them. Build a bond, fortify it spiritually where it cannot be broken. I challenge you all to do that. If you want to see real change, it's there for the taking. It's there. But it's going to take some work. So I implore you all to get to work. That's it. Aren't you tired of the disrespect? Aren't you tired? Aren't you tired? I know I am. Hi, Miss Tanya. How are you? I hope you are very well. I hope you are very, very well. So, what you guys are going to see coming up. Oh, I wanted to tell you because I'm sorry I didn't update you guys. I know I said that I was doing a giveaway to help anyone who was trying to get out of the matrix. And so I was giving away $200. And that person could use it towards anything that they wanted. And I said for you all to write in, but no one wrote in. So that's that. So there was no giveaway. But what you guys will see coming up is just really me really you will see me visiting other lands and me going through my process of self-sustainability. I will share. I like I said, I'm still having someone work on my website because I have multiple websites that need to be worked on. Some for my business, and then the other one that would be like my personal vlog that I own. And so I'm really excited about that. And I want to do it right. And in order for it to be done right, it's, it takes time. I don't want to half-ass do anything. That's just not who I am. And so I I know a lot of our people need to see, and then that can plants a seed in them. I know our people need to see, and then that kind of jump starts something in them and saying, okay, I see, her doing it, but I will be cautious about what I choose to share on this particular platform. And I know you all should know why. But once my platform is up, then I will share more about what I'm doing, because I'm doing so many things. And but I am preparing, and I am doing my work, because it is important to me, and it's important. I have a son, who watches me, and who I have to make sure is ready, and that he's able to thrive, and that he has everything that he needs, and so that he is a lender and never a borrower, so that he is a head and not a tail. That just making sure that I have that in place for my son, SUN. Very, very important. I am very well, Miss Tanya. I am very, very well. Um, just talking to the people about my experience at a UPS store, so you can watch it on the playback, but just not even just that experience, but how it triggered, you know, just something in me, just about the way that we've just been treated all over this entire planet, and what we need to do to change the trajectory of our future. So, sister, where are our community, mini community? Let me know. My Ima. No, what I'm saying, Miss Tanya, is that we are everywhere now, right? Remember during the pandemic, it really sparked this great migration, of our people just going all over the planet again. We've come out of the states, and we decided to travel other lands and explore, and a lot of us have settled in these other lands. So we're literally like we've always been everywhere. We are like the sand of the sea, but there's a lot more of us now, coming outside of our the communities in which we were reared, and coming outside of the states, and we're going into other lands, and we're creating um, lives there with our families, and businesses and things of that nature. And so what I am saying is that even if you're in the states, wherever you are, we need to be creating those communities wherever we are. That's what I'm saying. So it isn't in this one particular place, and that wouldn't be wise, honestly, for us to just put it in, saying, okay, just come to this land or come to this place. Like, that's not wise. What I'm saying is that wherever we are, I want to see us coming together and building these many self-sustaining communities wherever we are, like wherever we are. That's what I'm saying. So it's not in one particular place, it is wherever we are dwelling. That's what I'm saying, Miss Tanya. And yeah, so that's always been my message. And again, I'm going to end it here. I hope you guys are doing so very well. I love you all. I want to see us restored. I literally weep and cry. I've just been feeling things are just happening where I'm just able to feel things so deeply, like, and I'm talking about on a spiritual level. I can feel the change. I can see the change. And while it's a beautiful thing that's happening right now, but it's also mixed in with, it's just sometimes it's mixed in with this like melancholy feeling, because like I know, like, in order for us to like get to that other side, that there's going to be like great tribulation, and it's already happening. um and I've just, like I said, I've had visions of our people just being destitute and just being, I don't know, kind of like zombies, just out here asking, for oil, for the oil of others. And I've had those visions and it's just made me cry. I just feeling the energy that's in the atmosphere. Sometimes I could be walking or it hit me, I've been in the car and it's just this feeling where I'm just feel for my people. I do, it's just maybe difficult for me to articulate, and maybe some others are also feeling that too. But I just lately I have been really like weeping for my people. Like I just start to weep for them. I really do. Um, I just I want to see, and those that have light, those that have light, and those that whose light is dim and you're happy with it. I'm not talking about you, because the universe already has a plan for you. There has a plan for you. The earth has a plan. Um, but I can feel it, and I don't watch the news normally, but um, my son happened to turn it on yesterday, and I saw that, like, was it Kentucky? um they're underwater. I think it was it Oklahoma? They were also underwater. Just these massive floodings, you guys. When nature is expressing itself in this way, that's how it communicates. You should not ignore it. Don't ignore that. The heat wave that's going on over in the UK, and the suffering. Like, the earth is speaking. Mother nature is speaking. I hope you're listening. I hope you're listening. All right. I love you all. I want to see those mini communities. If this is it, this is the challenge. Like, if you've already done it, if you have a mini self-sustaining community, I want to see it. Tag me in it. I want to see it. I want to present it on my platforms. I want to see it. We can start this movement now. I want to see you in your mini communities. Even if you just give me a little snippet, whatever you feel comfortable sharing, you know, um, share it with me. I want to see it. I want to see you in your mini self sustaining communities. So please send them to me so I can see it. I would love to see it. I would love to share it with the community. All right. All right. So until next time, you all be good. All right. All right.